Hello there, beautiful internet and you fantastic creatures of the beyond. We're going to make a small video today about the continuation of our flower project. And this is more to highlight some of the ideas that we're going to follow and some of the design philosophies, but at the same time, I want to also highlight some of the functionality that I was talking about in my review of Inkscape. In the comments of that video, some of you awesome creatures of the beyond have shown me the wrong ways of me approaching Inkscape. And the fact is that I was talking about making the border, I mean, parts of the UI disappear and showing only the canvas. And that is possible if we press Shift 11. Or if we want to remove the top bar as well, we can press Ctrl F11. I still don't know how to hide this menu bar, but it's not a problem, it's okay. Although it does disable the swatches, so we don't have much control over this. It's called the focus something something, focus view. But in my defense, you see here it's full screen, but it doesn't say about the other two options. You have to go through preferences and so on. Or maybe I don't know. I just didn't see it. Anyway, that's one thing. The second thing is that you can stack menus, I mean these tabs, side by side like this. You have to drag them when they're floating, drag them all the way. You're gonna see a highlight through a bar. Like if I pull this, I can pull it over here. You see, there is a highlight like that. But we do not want that. So that's one aspect. Although keep in mind that when you're opening Inkscape with this saved template, if you save it as your main template, it's always going to be expanded. So you have to click like so to hide it. And for this one as well if you want, but whatever. Good. So since we got those aspects out of the way, although I'm going to keep it like this, I'm not going to keep it in focus mode because I want you guys to see kind of what I'm operating around here. Sometimes I might click, but it's a really good practice if you only want to work with the key bindings, and it's really nice. Now, let's talk about our tiny project here. So this is more the mindset of how we can operate our design. And I think one very important thing to take into account is the naming convention. So I have created both the flowers just to save us some time. And let's put a background here. So this is kind of the general shape that we're going to follow. Now, I kind of stood and thought about how to manipulate all of these petals because right now I can click on this and this is a swatch, right? I can change the swatch and these petals are also going to, let me just copy this. See, these petals are going to turn to that particular swatch, including this one. But how do you know to whom this swatch is attributed? Because if we go into our selector and CSS, if we click here for our petals, you will see that there are only two things here. And why is that? It's because I applied this to the entire group of petals. Now I could have put it individually, and we can do that if we want, but I thought like putting it towards a group is much more convenient because we can kind of mask it as a group. I'm still debating if I should let it as a group or if I should associate the colors per petal. And mainly this is because I'm thinking of creating the petals encapsulated within clipping masks. But we can also do two layers, like one group with this basic color, and then we duplicate the group, and then we put things inside. But my problem with that approach is that if I want to expand a petal, I would have to go through both through both groups to just drag it out. So I think having it more simplified in only one group and having only one mask layer per petal is going to simplify that. But another thing to keep into account is like, how do you know, aside from highlighting when you're clicking, obviously, but if you have more things here, it's going to become tedious. So how would we know which group represents which flower? So for that, I think the best approach would be to, oh my God, I had some music in the background and it stopped. Well, whatever. Is to create naming conventions. And it's gonna be a bit tedious and slow, but this is gonna help a long way. And it's interesting because you also can type description here, but to remember to always click the set button to apply it. I don't know why it's not saved automatically. It would be nice. But anyway, so if I click here, you see this is for group petals flower 1, bam, group petals flower 2, and this is just the title. It doesn't appear anywhere, like here we still have petals and petals at the label. And this is just an informative title for us to help us identify things. Like, for example, if I go to this one, this is called petal color, and that way I know that I'm manipulating it. Initially I thought of writing the text over it, but I think we click on them anyway. So making use of the object properties to identify things and better naming them and kind of seeing what manipulates what makes it a lot easier to navigate if you're working with lots and lots and lots of elements. And the thing is, if we really need a different color, we can also manipulate both the petals and the group of petals for colors. And I'm thinking of doing some weird manipulative things. I'm still trying to simplify as much as possible the elements so I don't create duplicates upon duplicates and stacking them on top of each other, because then it becomes a bit tedious when we create movement between the elements. This is basically an assembly. And I also kind of liked this concept here. I think I'm going to ditch the idea of putting a bulb behind everything and leaving this space, this negative space between the petals, and creating like this nerve endings here for for the petal roots to bind them together. I think it's gonna look nice. I still have to kind of apply this into this, but yeah, we're getting somewhere with this. But we're gonna work more in depth in the next session when we're going to make. I don't know. I'm still gonna work a bit on it on the background, like creating some leaf outlines or silhouettes or whatever. And in the next episode, we're going to start filling in some of the more finer details, because that's the nice part about it, when you're just creating magic inside your silhouettes. But all in all, I think it looks nice. We're still going to have to find a way to create some pigment or maybe some difference in shadow between this, because this is going to be on top, although it's a bit difficult to see now because they're blending the colors. But this one is going to be on top and this one is going to be underneath. So we shall see. We shall see. It's a bit complex when trying to create this, because this procedure is not made anywhere. So this is what I love about what we are doing here. We are experimenting and creating our own procedures. We are the master of our own universe, and we make our own rules. So we are the pioneers that can set up a workflow for others to follow if they wish to do so. But thinking about everything in advance makes 50% of the work done. And then you don't have to come back and change minute things if you have everything prepared. It's not gonna become a hassle for us. But all in all, I think it's starting to shape up to something. Right now, it doesn't look anything wow. It's just flat colors. But I do have faith in our abilities to create magic out of our mouses and keyboards. Because they are magical indeed. Okay, guys, you are super awesome. I'll catch you in the next episode. And bye 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 bye.